Hey, what is going on, guys? Nathan here with a Worms Revolution gameplay commentary. Now, in this video, I believe I will be facing an AI or another person in multiplayer, and the reason that I'm not really sure what will be on the screen is because at the time of this commentary, I have some gameplay recorded, but I'm not entirely sure whether I want to use it because I did lose to the AI, which is kind of, not too proud of that, but I am new to this game, which it is quite acceptable with only, just a couple of hours in this game against an intermediate AI. So, yeah, recently I did pick Worms Revolution up off the Steam summer sale for $3.50, I believe. Unfortunately, the Steam summer sale is over right now, but at the time it was kind of a no-brainer purchase, and the reason I was even looking at this game was I followed this podcast called Painkiller Already, which I mentioned in my previous video. That was sort of the video series that got me a little bit into Civilization 5, or at least enticed me to buy the game. And the same thing happened for this game. Their most recent video, they started to play Worms Revolution, and I was watching the video, and I was actually enjoying myself watching people have fun in this game. So that intrigued me a little bit, and one YouTube search later, and I was watching a video by the YouTube channel Let's Play, and I was enjoying myself once again watching this channel's video of this game. It was very enjoyable to watch this group of four guys just heckle each other and try to screw each other over in this game. So once again, really enjoying the kind of atmosphere that this game provides led me to kind of impulse buy this game off of Steam, and it turns out that I've really been enjoying this game recently. It's kind of one of my most recent favorites of the last month or so. Still not my favorite game, of course, because Team Fortress 2 will always kind of hold that place in my heart, just based off the amount of time invested into the game. But what I really like about Worms is that it's silly, it's fun, but it has a sort of strategic edge, and it's very skill-based. It's kind of got an easy-to-learn, hard-to-master type of feel. The aiming system is very basic, very, easy to learn. Obviously, easy to learn, hard to master. But if you can manage to get good at this game, you can pull off some amazing things, which is why it is definitely hard to master, which I do like in that in games, is when it appeals to everyone, but obviously the skillful are still rewarded. So I'd like to just cover kind of what I like versus what I don't like in this game. I've got a little bullet list here that I'd like to just go over with you all. So one of the first things that stood out to me when I started to play this game was that it is very colorful, which is actually more important than some people might think. And if you are a game developer out there watching, or small chance of watching this video, but if you are, one piece of advice from an average gamer, or hardcore gamer that plays a lot of games, but largely an average gamer, to all of the game developers out there in the world: make your games colorful. It is looking at a beautiful rainbow color palette of a game is so much more enjoyable, just creates a much better atmosphere than games that use, a lot of browns, a lot of grays, a lot of darker colors. That's why Team Fortress 2 just has a happier atmosphere than most games, because it's so colorful. There's just, everything is so much more vibrant, and it's kind of the same in this game. You just have, you have reds, and you have blues, and you have greens, and obviously you might want that sort of darker atmosphere with the grays and the browns in if you're trying to go for that feel, like in a World War II game or a Cold War game. But for the rest of game development as a whole, it's hard to go wrong with colors in your game, and this game is very colorful, and I do like that about it. It adds to the fun atmosphere that this game is trying to create, which it pulls it out very well. The other thing that stood out to me was that this game has pretty humorous voices. I don't know if this has existed in past Worms games, because I do know that Worms is a series, but actually, let me just explain Worms as a whole. I believe, for those of you who have no idea what Worms is, based off the gameplay, you've probably kind of learned this already, but if you remember the game iShoot, which was a very, very popular iPad Touch iPhone app way back in the day, 5 years ago when I was 12, I used to play that game a lot. it's basically like that game, except more wackier ways to go about killing other people. Like, you can, like, jump around, you can use different ridiculous weapons, you have, like, grenades, you have rocket launchers, and it's all in this silly fashion. Like, you have just ridiculous weapons. Like you can throw a sheep that explodes, and the sheep actually does amazing damage, I might add. So, never underestimate the sheep, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, yeah, that's just kind of a basic summary of worms. But the worms in this game have ridiculous voices, and I'm pretty sure they're just really high-pitched adult voices. But something that's really funny is that you can go into your settings and customize your worms to, like, edit what they say in-game. So, like, you can have all of your worms have an Australian accent, for example. But I set mine to say memes in-game, so, like, randomly, my worms might say, like, "You mad, bro?" Or be like, I don't know, what are some other memes off the top of my head? There were some Futurama references. Oh yeah, when your worm might die, he might say, "I don't want to live on this planet anymore," like, in this just really kind of humorous, high-pitched voice. And it makes everything, like, if you're mad at a worm death, how your opponent has outsmarted you, it just kind of takes that whole serious edge off of the game and just is like, oh yeah, this is just a ridiculous game, and there's no need to get mad at anything. And if you get mad at worms, then there's probably something wrong with you, to be quite honest. So yeah, kind of ridiculous, funny sounds, and that makes everything pretty funny. So like I said before, Worms is pretty strategic, and I really like that because you spawn with an assortment of weapons, but they're limited. You only have a certain number of weapons that you can use each time. So, like, if you're on intermediate or beginner, you might get 2 baseball bats, which is this weapon that you use to essentially do damage to a worm, but also hit them quite a ways. And the baseball bat is really useful for knocking other worms into water. You only have a limited use of this item, and you have the option of, like, okay, should I kill this worm now? Should I save this for later when I really, really need it? Or a better example might be the teleport. Like, should I, because you only have 2 teleports, I believe, on intermediate, and it's like, should I use this now? Should I wait when I'm in absolute critical danger to use this weapon? And it kind of has a strategic edge that way. Now, there are crates that drop within the game in, I believe, random places, and those can decide the tide of a match, to be honest, if it's a really special circumstance, I would say. But overall, they're not that bad. You can shoot them so that they explode, which is kind of, obviously not the most skill-based, but that's part of what makes Worms is just being, like, ridiculous and random kind of stuff like that. But yeah, it is strategic, and it does have this easy-to-learn, hard-to-master aiming system, which I'm a huge fan of. So, like, you can pick up this aiming system in less than 5 minutes. Basically, you hold down, you aim, you adjust where you're aiming, you hold down a button to charge how far you want to shoot this thing, and then you release the button and it goes. Now, for different weapons, obviously they fire in different ways, and just even looking at some of the shots that the AI can do, basically the AI, because they obviously know that they can do almost anything, they can calculate angles and stuff, they will take ridiculous shots and land them. So, like, let me just give an example. If I am standing on the right cliff of the map, and there's a huge, like, sphere of dirt in the way of me shooting a bazooka over at the enemy on the opposite cliff of a map, the AI, and humans can do this, of course, obviously, but, like, what I saw was that the AI would back up, take out their bazooka, shoot with the perfect angle and force over this mound, or this obstacle, and hit me on the other side of this cliff. Now, if you can do that as a human, that's pretty impressive, and, but that's part of the hard to master system, is that if you have this aiming system down, you can outsmart your opponents in ways like they might protect themselves in a certain way, but because you know the certain trick, or you can hit a certain shot, that definitely makes or gives you a huge advantage in the game. So easy to learn, hard to master aiming system, I like that in games, which I believe I covered a little bit before. This game has amazing co-op. Now, I haven't participated in the co-op yet, which I am looking forward to, so if any of you want to, I don't know, play with me, just feel free to comment or whatever. But just based off of the YouTube videos I've seen on this game, co-op looks so much fun. You know, just screwing your friends over is one of the funnest things in existence while they try to screw you over, and it looks amazing, and especially if you're in like a voice program like Skype where you can like actually talk to them and, you know, try to bargain with them to save your worm's life, it just kind of adds to the experience and is really fun. And then the last thing that stood out to me in this game is that you can customize your worms. Now, you can like edit the sort of hats that they wear and stuff like that, but what I like is that you can like manually edit the names of your worms. So like my worm names are pretty clever in my own opinion, but you can, you know, think of clever names or like make like a theme for your worms. Like one of the videos I watched with the worms had like a Game of Thrones character, like his forms were named after characters from Game of Thrones, which like you can do that. So I thought that was pretty fun, or and like a nice feature of the game. What I don't like, which are two minor things that can be fixed and are not really, you know, a detriment to the game, is that one of the things is, by default, the keyboard bindings in this game are a little bit weird. They're pretty wonky, to be honest. So like shift, or I'm sorry, jump by default is bound to shift, like your left shift key, and that makes little to no sense when your aiming keys are your arrows on the right hand side of the keyboard. Meanwhile, you use your mouse to aim around the screen, so it's like the game is kind of expecting you to have three hands to cover your aiming system, your movement system, or movement / shooting system, and your like looking system, which is your camera, which is the mouse. So I fixed that entirely, so now like my movement is based off of the WASD, so like WASD. My jump is on shift, which makes a lot more sense. My E is my menu where I can select weapons, and my R and F are to aim up and down, and I kept my mouse. So that's just a much more familiar sort of key binding set, because I can keep my left hand in one place and my right hand in another, and I can like play the game off of that. It's just a much more familiar feel as well, being I'm a huge first-person shooter fan. So that obviously is a fixable problem, but just be aware, like have that be one of the first things you change is the default key bindings. They're just really weird. And the second thing that isn't really a detriment to the game at all, but it just would be nice, is that I wish there were a little bit sharper graphical effects in this game. If you zoom all the way in on terrain or worms, you can, like, it's not the nicest model or texture to view. You can see some pixelation, but obviously, like, the devs are possibly porting this game over from console, which is used to more like 720p. I'm not sure about that, being this game does run on 1080p just fine, but I just wish everything would be a little bit more sharper, a little bit more crisp to look at. 1080p doesn't necessarily look like 1080p, and I just think the models could be a little bit higher resolution. Now, I don't know, the game devs might be trying to appeal to a larger audience, like, you know, obviously they want this game to run on slower, older computers, but my graphics card, which is obviously overkill for a game like this, the GTX 770, runs this game at 400 frames per second, which is ridiculous. Like, I definitely think that the models and textures could be upped a little bit, and I do have everything on maximum graphics. I would like to put that out there so somebody doesn't say, well, have you turned up the settings? They're all at maximum. So, but that's, you know, not like a detriment to the game. It's just something that would be nicer, something that would make the game a little bit more enjoyable, but it is already enjoyable enough off of the gameplay, which is really what is most important in a game. And yeah, this game is just really fun. I would highly recommend you check it out. Unfortunately, like I said, the Steam Summer Sale is ended yesterday, actually, I believe. So everything might be at full price, but check out this game nonetheless, and I would highly recommend, even if you're not going to buy it, just check out some videos on it. It's, regardless, if you have time to waste, this game is like one of the most fun to watch if you have the people to make it really, really fun. So I think that's pretty much all I would like to say for today, and if you guys enjoyed the video, then feel free to leave a like. I always appreciate it, and feel free to subscribe if you enjoy all of my content. That is always appreciated as well. And I will see you guys, that was like an Australian accent. I will see you guys later.